Mr. Del Palacio?
Here.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Here.
Mr. Chapman?
Here.
And Ms. Sun?
Here. After the Pledge of Allegiance, the land acknowledgement statement will be read by Mr. Chapman. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Tolleson Union High School District serves 14,000 students with 15 indigenous communities represented throughout our 7 high schools. The Tolleson Union High School District Governing Board would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Yakima, Odom, and Pequot peoples, and pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. We recognize their enduring connection to this land, their rich culture and language, and the valuable contributions they have made and continue to make in our community. As we gather today for the Tolleson Union High School District Governing Board meeting, let us remember the significance of these lands and honor the legacy of the original stewards of this territory.
Thank you, Mr. Chapman. And now, I hereby recommend that the governing board approve the regular meeting agenda. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Najera? No. Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Sun?
Yes. And now we'll go to a summary of current events. Superintendent Guys.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, as we continue to celebrate Career and Technical Education Month, we have several new videos featured on our social media channels, including student-focused interviews with law and public safety and Marine Corps JROTC students. So make sure you visit our social media pages and you can check out our events and our videos. And the Tolleson and University High FCCLA culinary programs held T-Town's Rescue and Refresh event, where first responders from across our district were treated to free coffee and pastries all day. The first time event was incredibly well attended and was captured by a live spot on AZ Family. And over at Westview, senior Grant Guidry was nominated by his counselor, Pete Nitke, to receive the Avondale Avistar Student of the Month. He was recognized at the Avondale City Council meeting on February 10th. Grant is an athlete and passionate volunteer. He has clocked more than 1,000 volunteer hours at Andrew's House, which helps the homeless. Also at the Avondale City Council meeting, West Point was the first place recipient of the Avondale School Spirit Food Drive. Students collected 3,046 pounds of food to clinch the first place trophy. The award was accepted by Class of 2025 Student Body President Diana Amaya. Yeah, you're dragging. Not dragging. And also, I was happy to attend the Arizona School Public Relations Awards last week. So our PR team received the most number of awards. They had 11 awards that their team received for all their contributions this year. But most notably, the grand finale of the event was when they recognized our very own Joseph Ortiz as the PR Communicator of the Year for the state. It was the grand finale at the event, and he received a standing ovation. So big congratulations out to Joseph and all of his team, and I know some of his team's out here today, so congratulations out to our PR team. And since our last board meeting, more of our schools have been welcoming the class of 2029 with future freshman nights. Westview held theirs on February 12th, and West Point and La Jolla each held events on February 20th. The future freshman nights have now finished for the year, although our enrollment remains open for all of our schools. And that's just some of the good news since our last board meeting.
Thank you, Superintendent Guys. And now, board members, any personal updates? Dr. Luna Nahara?
No, thank you.
Mr. Del Blasio?
No, it's time for you.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Thank you.
Mr. Chapman?
Well, somebody has to break the silence. No, so I just want to continue thanking everyone for all the work that you've been doing across the district. We're almost in March next week and getting closer to graduation. So appreciate all the work you're doing. I know we keep celebrating our schools one meeting at a time and hearing all these great updates we're about to hear again. So just continue to appreciate everything you're doing for our students in our community.
Thank you, Mr. Chapman, and I'd like to echo the statement made. I also like to add the fact that we had a chance to meet more staff members and teachers and district personnel. We're still, meeting new people, and it's just great to see the great, teamwork and collaboration. And I hope that with the, board members, we will take that seriously, and hopefully we'll be able to, address any issues that comes up and support you guys in any way. So now to the celebration. Superintendent Guys.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, I'd like to invite up our proud principal, reigning principal of the year, home of the letter grade A Dragons, Ms. Brandy Haskins.
Board President Sun, Vice President Chapman, governing board members, Superintendent Kayes, students, staff, and parents in attendance. I'm very happy to be here tonight to represent West Point. Hope there's some folks watching on TV at home, watching the YouTube feed. I have a little treat for you on your table. You hear a lot about our CTE interns, and this particular flyer that you're looking at was made for Future Freshman Night by one of our marketing interns, Fernando Aguiano Aranda, who is here this evening, and I'd like to recognize him. I hope everybody liked that tie-in for CTE month. But it's great. If you see in the back, there is a QR code, so anybody who needs to register anyone for West Point for next year, we're ready to go. It's my pleasure to be here tonight. At the beginning of every staff gathering that we have on campus, we start with our we are's, and you'll see we is capitalized there. And it's an opportunity for our staff to shout out and celebrate the other things that are going on campus, their peers, their students, the excellence that goes on campus. And we really focus obviously on our focus, integrity, respect, and excellence, our FIRE values. What we have accomplished, we have been because of the hard work of students and staff. And tonight, my theme is to take you through a we are and some of the celebrations that we have of our people, and then my favorite part of the year when I get to introduce you to a couple amazing staff members and students. We also start all of our meetings by reviewing our core values. When you open a new school, there's always going to be challenges, and bringing together 50 new teachers and 25 support staff was not easy to create a culture. But these are the things that are important to us, and you'll see it's about collaboration, because with collaboration we are all better and we all improve all the time. And also that we turn challenges into opportunities. So that is something that we are most proud of our staff and students, that kind of doesn't matter what we throw at them, we know that we are going to come through that together and be better for it. None of us work in isolation, and tonight is the celebration of that. So my little mini theme tonight is game changers. You've not had a chance to see our very scary Fuego mascot. There he is in all his glory. He's definitely a game changer. When he comes out on campus to a game, to an event, it just changes everything about the spirit and the pride that our students and staff have. We have a great school with many strong programs. I cannot possibly name them all, so I'm apologizing right now that I cannot talk about every single thing that happens, but I'm gonna hit some of our good ones. Let's talk about leadership, world language, dual enrollment, CTE, AP, JAG, STUGO, Unified. Our exceptional student services department, they meet their benchmarks and they do so on time and early. Our athletic programs continue to improve, and both of our basketball coaches, men and women, were the region coaches of the year for their respective areas. We are definitely a school on the rise. Men's basketball just recently brought us our first region championship, so that was very exciting in the history. We have 969 students out of the 2,700 are enrolled in AP. At graduation, when I ask them to stand if they've been in a dual enrollment or AP, the crowd will gasp because we're happy that we can provide those opportunities. Tonight, we're going to celebrate the results and the game changers that helped get us to where we are. And first and foremost, we're going to talk about academics. Again, this last year, we showed growth in all of the measurements on the ACT. We are most proud of some of the big jumps that we had. Getting more than a 0.5 growth in a 32-point piece is a lot. And we continue to grow. We expect to grow again tonight, or this year when we take the test again. Our biggest jump, and I know it's going to be fun because some of them are here, was in our science department. I think there's like 8 people in the science department here tonight, so they didn't even know I was going to say that. So we've had a lot of success academically, but we continue to keep our eyes on that because obviously with growth, that's great stuff, but it's not as good as getting to the very top. So we will continue to push hard to get those numbers up. Our teachers at each grade level are aligned. They communicate with each other, they stay dedicated to the curriculum, and they provide interventions. That's how we've moved our students forward. It's no one teacher, it's no one department, it is literally everyone being on board and knowing that we need to support our students as we can. They are both creative and persistent, and at each grade level they work on creating goals that will support our students all the way through these measurements. But we're not satisfied, we are very persistent. We will definitely be trying to reach and beat all of those numbers again this year and come back to report that for you next year. 2 other really important measures to us are our dropout rate and our student graduation rate. This is the end piece, right? This is why students and parents attend a school. They come to high school, they want to be involved in programs, they want to learn, they want to celebrate, but they want to graduate and be ready to move on. So we keep a constant watch on these items. Our counselors and teachers build relationships with students so that we can try to recover any student who runs into a problem and is thinking about dropping out, and trying to get our students, all of them, done at the end of the school year. We try to get them all done in 4, and we'll talk about that with our school goals. Our goal to get our graduation rate this year is to get up over that 90% threshold that the state recognizes as excellence in graduation rates. I know the last couple presentations, you are now experts at the school report card because everyone is proud to show you the work that they have done and how that shows up for the school. These are the measures that show that we're providing programs and growth for all of our students. Couple highlights for the growth area where we got all 20 points. We actually got 120% of the growth points that were out there. You can only be given 20. So we were really excited to know that that's a big indicator for us, that every student that enters at a different level and a different expectation of what their strengths and their needs might be. And to be able to show that kind of growth means if a student comes to us, we will make sure that they learn and they leave us more proficient and ready for the world. Some areas that we've been working on this year are not only our proficiency score, because we see some points there that we can still get, we're not at the top. Also, our ELD proficiency and growth scores, as well as increasing our CCRI points. We're at 18.5 and we're going to hit that 19 this year. And I would be remiss if I did not say that our staff and students were incredibly on fire to celebrate the A letter grade that we earned. So many factors go into that. Every person has a part of that, from the bus drivers that pick them up every day, our cafeteria workers who make sure they're well fed, all of our teaching staff, our support staff, our security. It takes a lot to move a school and get to this level, so we're excited about it, but we cannot stop. This is 1 year's accomplishment. We need to do it again. And so we are working, as we have been for the last couple of years, to put some structures in place that allow us to move forward and increase all of these areas. Oops. Our goals for this year, when we wrote these this summer, we write it as all of our students in the 2025 senior class are gonna graduate. There's no choice, they must graduate. There are some that might not make it by May, but that's not an option to not make it at all. So our goal is to hit that 90%. We want to increase the academic growth of all of our students, both in proficiency and growth. I mean, it'd be kind of cool if we came back at like 150%, Miss Davy. I think that'd be really cool. Getting all of our students ready for college and career. AP and dual enrollment have been a real proud moment for us, but that's because I'm lucky to have an amazing staff of teachers who are AP trained and dual enrollment certified so that they can offer the opportunities to our families. We talked about the CCRI, and then getting our students involved on campus. And this is a district-wide piece that we're all working on. And how do we measure that so that we can make sure we continue to find ways for our kids to be connected on campus and find that passion and that purpose that they might have. So here's our We Are. This is my favorite part of the show, so to speak, because we get to talk about the people who are the game changers every day on campus. I'd like to ask Miss Day to come on up and join me up front. She told me she doesn't like to see pictures on a big screen like that. I'm like, that's a great picture. I didn't even know that we're going to use the slide from the food drive, but Day is a very unique and passionate leader on our campus. You see on that slide, that is not a misprint. She has been our student body president for the last 2 years. She is passionate about building West Point into a school that has a strong culture, has a lot of spirit. She volunteers all the time. She's just at school almost as much as me. I don't know, Mr. Payton. Mr. Payton, I think it might be also Mr. Payton. Day is an amazing example of what happens when a student sees only possibilities. Day's been our student body president for the last 2 years and pushes all of the students in Stugo to think big. She is focused on how to increase student involvement on campus and positively impact school spirit. Her hard work is paying off. Under her leadership, our Stugo was awarded the Council of Distinction Award from the Arizona Association of Student Councils. A staff member said, Day exudes dragon fire, leading with a smile and a healthy dose of motivation. Day is an all-around impressive young woman. Along with her responsibilities in Stugo, she holds strong academic schedule, volunteers with our athletic trainer, and holds down a job at the Home Depot. And when I learned that that's where she worked, I thought, of course, because she is building things every single day. That's who I would go to. Some of the things that the staff said about her when nominating is that they know for sure that her passion for West Point and dedication to school climate and culture have changed the game for West Point. We have more participation from students during the day and in the evening at events. She might be one of the people that's there as much as me. See, there's my script. So Day, you are graduating in May. So if you will share with us briefly your post-high school plans, you are going to graduate and...
First and foremost, good evening, President, Vice President, Superintendent, and Council. I plan to graduate and attend NAU and do their accelerated program for Business Administration and Accounting.
We selected this picture of Day because this is Day. She is spirit every single day. She did me the honor on a dress-up day a few weeks ago as she dressed as me. That was fun. We matched for Day. But we're just really, really proud of what Day has done and the impact she's had on the campus. She will live long after she graduates and moves on. So Day, congratulations. Our next student that we'll be recognizing is Travion Turman. Trey, come on. We get Trey away from practice tonight, so I'm happy to have him. He is the captain of our basketball team. He is the JAG senior president. He has competed at JAG National. He's been a JAG state officer. He has done a lot of things. But what he has really done is taught other people how to lead and how to grow strong programs. Ready? So here's what's been said about Trey by his teammates and coaches. Our captain, Travion, is the core of our team. We wouldn't be anywhere where we are without him. On and off the court, he leads with passion and dedication. His work ethic pushes us to be better every day, and his leadership keeps us united through every challenge. Trey is a natural leader, and we feel that every day on campus with his involvement in JAG and basketball. He is a friend, mentor, and teammate, all while reaching his own dreams. That picture of Trey is his team let him have the last cut on the strings for the Region Championship night. So that's that big smile you see on his face. That was exciting. Trey's impact on our JAG program will set the bar for years to come. JAG family is a term that is used often to talk about our JAG program. If it's a family, he is our patriarch. A staff member said Trey has taken his journey at West Point as his personal opportunity to build himself as a young man before taking on adult life. Trey has helped West Point build a strong program in JAG and basketball both. Little trip down memory lane. I remember Trey in his sophomore year. A few of you might have been there at this event. We were in the PAC and we were doing a Q&A with Larry Fitzgerald, who had come to campus for the day to inspire and talk with our students. And students could raise their hand and ask questions. And here goes Trey's hand. Trey says, I'm a student athlete and I'm wondering how you were able to manage your time and achieve what you have. Such an insightful question for someone who is there as a role model that we can learn from. Trey, I'm very sure that that is a question that a young person is going to ask you in the future as they look to you as you make your mark in the world and they want to know how you've been so successful. With Trey involved, everything is possible. So Trey, please share with us what your plans are after graduation. You're going to graduate and?
I'll be attending ASU, double majoring in business management and business entrepreneurship.
Congratulations. If anybody has any extra time on Friday night, please feel free to join us at our Dragon Gym, where Trey and the rest of the team will be in the next round of the 6A playoff for men's basketball, playing the winner of the Brophy or Apollo game last night that's going on tomorrow night. So if you have time, come see us. It's a good time. A few highlights from this year has been watching our teachers lead from within. Our cadre, our guiding coalition in progress, evaluated our ACT scores starting last year and looked to see how they could support our school and our students. They selected a writing problem strategy, planned and delivered training to the staff, and have been following up and refreshing that training when needed to keep moving forward. And the cadre is a cross-curricular group. There are teachers that have been teaching for 3 years and some that have been teaching for 20. Every different department is recognized and they come together and they look at what can we do across the board. This spring, our cadre worked to create grade level PLTs to allow for cross-curricular collaboration. They're currently working to develop goals related to ACT cross-curricular at the junior level. The pictures that you see up there, we've got a couple pictures of our teachers busy at work last Wednesday at two Wednesdays ago, at our first of the grade level PLTs. And then Racer, that is the strategy that we've been using in all of our content so that students can attack prompts the same way across content. We know that that's going to be a skill that's not just great for ACT, not just great for their work with us, but also as they move forward academically. A couple new things this year to kind of share where we're headed. We created last spring a freshman success team. We were awarded a freshman success grant from the state to put together some planning for how we can help with that transition that freshmen have from 8th grade to 9th grade, because that's a big jump. It's a very different environment. That particular group came together and decided that the best supports we could give to our students was to help them with their executive function, to help them get organized and reinforce and keep them on track so that they could track their own work and know how they're doing. So you'll see one of the pictures up there is of the weekly planner. The beginning of the school year, students got a binder and a bunch of inserts to put in of different ways that they can track their homework, their grades, to keep them moving forward. We also added a chess team. You can see up in the top right-hand corner, that's the district's very first chess district championship. It was super fun to see. We have a swim team Thank you, Mr. Tolleson, for getting us into the Aquatic Center in Avondale. We've been waiting for that, got a lot of students involved. And then this is our first year of receiving the 21st Century Grant. So we have a lot of things going on after school as part of that grant, including our student leadership group that is putting together the school-based budgeting project. And I got to see the 4 final projects that they're going to put out for a vote to our students. And they are all grand projects that absolutely will provide our students with some new things on campus to inspire, to motivate, and to give back. Support Staff Member of the Year, Monica Williams, come on down. You know someone is a real game changer when being one of our newer office employees, they are recognized by their peers. Monica Williams is just such a person. Monica joined us in the unique situation of supporting 3 assistant principals. I'm sorry. Not only did she make a strong compliment to their team, but she always looked to see where and who needed help. Student or staff, if you stand by anywhere that she is for too long, you are going to hear, "How can I help you?" We started this school year without an admin assist to the principal, which, as many of you are aware, is the person who ensures that all of our classes are covered in case a teacher is absent or on a field trip. Not only did she jump in to make sure everyone had what they needed, from keys to rosters, etc., she helped to build a process that is very efficient and teachers have been very excited about. If she can figure out our key cabinet, there is nothing she cannot do. One of her nominators said, "She is a difference maker behind the scenes and keeps our office running smoothly." Thank you, Monica, for all that you do to support us. Thank you, Monica, for trusting that you would find a home here, maybe just down the street from where Mr. Williams is. But we are so happy to have Monica on our campus and working with our Dragons. Congratulations, Monica. Our certified staff member of the year is Stephanie Chow. I'm right here! Stephanie Chow. What can I say about Stephanie Chow here? Stephanie came to West Point 3 years ago and hasn't stopped moving since. She teaches our human anatomy and advanced human anatomy courses. She's helped build a following of students who want to take the class and gain from not just her expertise, but her enthusiasm. What you see here is every day, first thing in the morning, late at night, that is Stephanie. Sometimes when you hire a teacher, you get a bonus of another talent they will share with you. When she arrived, I found out that she is an absolute band queen. She works as a volunteer with our marching band and specifically with the drumline and saxophones. She makes sure that the students, regardless of their experience, have an opportunity to learn all the great things that band brings: confidence, thinking skills, teamwork, school spirit, and more. She also coaches tennis. What else can she do? Of the pictures that you see up there of Stephanie, the one in the middle is Stephanie doing her drumline thing at an assembly earlier this year. You're welcome. You're welcome. I didn't even know you took it. I'm just saying. Stephanie's energy in and out of the classroom is infectious. I'll description of the picture. Her colleagues said, "Stephanie embodies the best of what a STEAM campus can be. She's a role model for students about finding your passion and never having to have a job, but an adventure." We are all lucky that Stephanie is in our world. Congratulations. No, graduate and. Graduate and. There are so many things that I would love to have the time to share with you, but my principal colleagues won't allow me to stand up here forever. So, When our staff was asked to share earlier this semester what some of their highlights were from the fall, there were some really cool things that came out that they mentioned. And two of them were, our PLC did this. And they described working with data, creating an intervention, something that their PLC did really well. They also said things like, our students improved in that. And those statements really embody what West Point is. It is about the teachers working together, supporting students, and doing whatever it takes to help them be successful. I must highlight and thank a special group of people who work hard to make the conditions at West Point that our staff and students have the support, and that is my admin team. Can you please stand and be recognized? I am really lucky to have this team. Not only do they work really hard, they are also a lot of fun. But I will tell you, we collaborate all the time, and there was some collaboration today about what we were going to wear tonight. So, can I also ask any West Point staff that's in attendance to please stand and be recognized? These are the people that have worked together with glasses half full, opportunities for all, and an absolute crazy passion for being the best that we can be. I'm so thankful to our staff. And tonight is a little bit of a historic moment. It is time. With the leadership of Ms. Zemkowski and our site council team of students and staff, we have a mission, vision, motto to release tonight. So, ignite that fire within and soar like a dragon. We're very excited about the work that all of our teams have done this year. The teacher leadership, admin is there to support, but this is teacher leadership. They know best what their students need, and our job is to support them. And I cannot be more proud of what it is that they do each and every day with our students. Some of you have seen this picture already. It's an amazing group of humans, and I am never at a loss for the campus is beautiful. It's an amazing space to get to work, but it's those people in the middle of the quad that are the reason that we are successful. So I am excited to see what is next, because we are ready to be better than we were yesterday so that we can move our students forward. Thank you.
Members, any questions, comments? Miguel?
President Sun. Ms. Haskins, I just want to say, thank you for everything you've done. Clearly, it's something to be very proud of. There's growth across everything, to be honest. And thank you to the teachers and the staff in your campus, because it's a great one.
Member Chapman?
Yeah, Ms. Haskins, thank you again for presentation. Obviously, continuing amazing things going on at West Point. Let's have another huge round of applause for our second A school in the district. Congratulations. It's certainly no easy task, but I think obviously given the incredible people that work there, we're not surprised. Even if it took 80 a little bit longer to get there than we knew we were in A, we definitely got there. So a huge congratulations to everyone at West Point for that achievement. I also just want to congratulate again our students and staff members of the year. And also if you're a spouse or family of one of our staff members that were celebrated, or students, please also stand. Parents and family members, want to congratulate you as well. We appreciate your trusting our district and supporting our district, your students, and our staff. Again, thank you, Ms. Haskins, your leadership team, and everyone at West Point. Just continue to be thrilled with all the work that's going on there. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Chapman. And I'd like to, again, just to follow up, I personally had a beautiful, beautiful visit at your campus, and really had a chance to meet with you, your leadership, your style, your your heart. I mean, I was standing next to her and she was, I just love my job. And I was like, oh, she needs a tissue. Like, you gotta get her a tissue. No, but the energy and the collaboration and the teamwork is just amazing. I had personally met every one of your assistant principal, and their dedication and their background and their vision of the school year and the following school years. I mean, you guys are thinking ahead, coming up with amazing ideas. I personally really enjoyed the day because it was the Lunar New Year, so that was a lot of fun. And I think that you guys are always kind of like circling ideas among each other, and seeing that in action is just, it's just amazing. And those are, those are the people that we want to encourage and to flourish in any way that we can possibly support, and to also collaborate. We don't want to be left out in all the fun. And of course, once again, congratulations to the staffs of the year, the students of the year. You guys are the epitome of why we're up here. This is what we want to achieve for every student. I know what you brought before us is a sample, but thank you so much for all the dedication and hard work, every one of you guys. So once again, applaud to everyone to West Point and all the leaderships.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Ms. Haskins, thank you for a wonderful presentation. I just want to thank you for your leadership and thank your administrators. It's not lost on me that you have the largest campus in our district, and it takes a lot of hard work and coordination to ensure the safety of our students and to run a campus. Having worked on a high school campus, I know the challenges, and so understanding the size of your campus, hats off to you for making sure our students are taken care of and safe on a daily basis. I do want to take a minute to thank, or to congratulate, Diana and Trey for being the students of the year, and our staff of the year, Monica, Stephanie, thank you so much for choosing Tolleson Union High School District. We appreciate that. And to the parents, thank you for trusting us and letting your students be part of our family. Thank you.
Member Del Blasio.
So Ms. Haskins, aka Queen Dragon, you all know it. Thank you for the information you shared tonight. Huge shout out to your teachers, your admins, everyone on campus. It takes a whole entire team to achieve the results you've achieved. But I think what was more empowering to hear this evening is that it's not good enough for you. The standard is set so high, you want to keep pushing and ensuring our kids are beyond and above proficient. And so that's just a level of excellence that you continue to model at the school, and it's evident in the presentation that you showed us this evening. So I also want to give a huge shout out to, of course, Day and Trey, of course, our staff, Ms. Monica, Ms. Chow. Obviously, my son loves you. He tells me that all the time. And then I do want to acknowledge somebody who just walked in. You had mentioned it earlier, Coach Nelson. Can you stand up? That's our Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year. I've seen the work that he's done with these young men, and he's not just coaching basketball players. These are scholar athletes. These are leaders. He ensures that they go above and beyond, not just on the court, but off the court. And that's a testament to your leadership, so thank you for all that you do for our student scholars. And of course, lastly, I just want to double down on that invitation Friday night playoff game. Listen, these boys are dunking on folks. I mean, it's a good show. It's better than the Suns game. Listen, come support our boys, come support our schools, and help them ensure that we continue to ignite the fire with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Blasio. Before we take a 5-minute break, I just want to add a little bit. I know I'm a little bit off the script. I just want to personally, wish someone a very happy birthday. Her birthday was yesterday, but this individual has personally helped me to get up to speed, along with my board members. But she's very unique in the way that the things she has to tolerate from all of us, I just can't imagine. So please join me in wishing our very own Assistant Lupita Goodman, a happy birthday. I know that if we were to sing a happy birthday, she'll quit on us, so I'm not going to do that to her. So with that said, let's take a 5-minute recess and reconvene then. Thank you.
The benefits of unified sports are social participation and the exposure to new activities, things that they might not have had otherwise had opportunities to participate in.
When we build our equipment and our kids who can't typically participate are able to do something independently, the joy that they get from doing that activity for the first time is incredible.
I didn't really like playing in front of people in the beginning because I thought I wasn't good at it. And then once I got used to playing in front of people, I got a little bit out of my shell, and now I'm comfortable playing with other people.
I learned that I need to be confident.
Confident.
Oh, you want to be more confident?
Yeah.
You learn to be more confident?
Special Olympics has had such an impact on the Arizona community as a whole because we are really focused on community for all. It doesn't matter what kind of situation you're in, what is your disability. We are really here for everybody, making life happen for everybody, making fun happen for everybody, because sports are fun.
We've been playing like different kind of sports like volleyball, and we played this one game. It's called that. We wear these like uniforms and stuff like that. Like whoever had the ball, you stop, and we throw it to our teammate. Now we just actually legit play badminton day. Been training super hard that day.
The funnest, most happiest people I've ever seen in my life. It's just every day is just they have that positivity that can spread everywhere, like it's contagious.
Unified sports benefits students with and without disabilities in just so many ways. You see them come into the class at the beginning of the year and they're very shy, not very aware of how to act or behave, and then you just see these relationships blossom and then grow, and they truly do become like a team, and they're super close, super tight, and our students really do show really great examples of this throughout competitions, is really supporting those that do have disabilities and just having those friendships and building that support and having that support for one another.
I really enjoy dancing because I learned that when the first time I danced, I was shy, but then I realized that dancing can be not just about dancing, it can be about making memorable memories.
During these past few months of the year when we started, I feel that the most memorable moment is when we all started playing, not knowing what we were doing, but we still figured it out in front of everyone.
We love everything unified, bringing people together, athletes, partners, giving them that normal experience of a team. And as a district, we came together and said, let's plan these events, district events.
At first, I was coming into it not knowing what to expect, and I feel like that's most cases for like things that you haven't tried before. But I definitely feel that I've grown so much with it. I've learned a lot, and it's something that I want to do more with. Like I want to be a part of my future.
I think that you can look at the footage of students and see the smiles on their faces and know that what Unified Sports is offering those students in general is a great deal of independence, success, and joy. I think you can look at any single player and be like, this program is making a difference.
I think the partners too, like
For sure.
they get really excited to learn about our switch stuff and all the equipment we use, and then encouraging their athlete to participate. So I think it's a growing and learning opportunity for them that they really enjoy.
Join it, because it's something where you're gonna not only learn how to play a sport, but you're gonna learn social skills with different people, knowing that when we go out into the real world, it's not just gonna be us, it's gonna be other people. And they're no different than us, but it's just showing that we're gonna have that type of connection with special education than just gen ed kids.
I don't know, I just think Unified is one of the greatest programs that high schools can offer, and I hope that we are able to have more and more Unified classes that not just cater to Unified Sports, but then cater to all different opportunities and interests. So hopefully our program just continues to grow.
Why settle for a school that only offers you one thing when you can have a school that offers you everything? Does your school have a cafeteria like this? Or a performing arts center like this? Or a football field like this? Or an innovation center like this? Forward march. Or a path to the military like this? Or a career and technical education program like this? Or will their digital media program take you here, or here, or here? Or a media center like this? You can find all this and more at the Tolleson Union High School District. Enroll now.
My name is Ashley Pollock, and I am a math teacher at Tolleson Union High School. I'm here to talk about an important opportunity coming up, the ACT exam on October 22nd. The ACT is the key exam to determining how prepared you are for college, but also opens doors to scholarships and any other financial options. The ACT will also help you jumpstart any current plans you may have for the future, whether that's college, starting a career, or any other potential options. The ACT will also help you better prepare for your final attempt happening in March this year. But it's not just about you. Your performance also benefits our school and our entire district. When you perform well on the ACT, it shows how committed we are to academic excellence. It also leads to more opportunities and resources to all of us. So I encourage you to try your best, aim for proficiency, and show what you are capable of.
And before we proceed, I'd like to read the guidelines for public participation. All regular and special meetings of the board shall be open to the public. The board invites the viewpoints of citizens throughout the district and considers the responsible presentation of these viewpoints vital to the efficient operation of the district. The board also recognizes its responsibilities for the proper governance of the school and therefore the need to conduct its business in an orderly and efficient manner. Any individual desiring to address the board shall complete a form and give this form to the governing board's executive assistant, Lupita Goodman, prior to the start of the board meeting. This is the time for the public to comment. Governing board members are not permitted to discuss or take legal action or on matters raised during the open call to the public, unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and legal action. However, the law permits governing board members to do the following at the conclusion of the open call to the public. Respond to criticism made by those who may have addressed the governing board. B, ask staff to review a matter. Or C, ask that a matter be put on a future agenda. In order to facilitate accomplishing the business of the district in a timely manner, a time limit of 3 minutes will be imposed for each individual or group addressing the board. When you approach the podium, please state your name for the record. Diane Amaro. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board, President Sun. I am Diana Amaro. I'm a parent of the Tolleson Union High School student and a proud member of this community for over 100 years. My family has been, anyway. I'm here tonight to voice my concerns regarding the response to the recent gun incidents that have occurred on Tolleson Union High School campus and the removal of Officer Hendricks by Mr. Galles. It's my understanding that there have been discussions about installing metal detectors on campuses. And while I agree that we've had way too many gun situations this year on the campus, studies have shown that metal detectors have limited detection, provide a false sense of security, have a disruptive impact, come with increased cost and maintenance, and have a potential for discrimination. In fact, the most effective approaches to school safety are positive school climate initiatives, mental health support, staff training, and anonymous reporting systems, which makes a lot of people in this community question why Superintendent Galles would release a school resource officer like Officer Hendricks, who is loved by all the students and the staff. If anything, Officer Hendricks is the reason why there haven't been more incidences that have gone out of control. So, why we released him is really, it's appalling. In closing, it continues to appear that this board and Superintendent Galles do not have the best interests of the students, the schools, the staff, or this community in mind while making the decisions for this community. So that the record is clear, the constituency does not agree with the installation of metal detectors or the removal of Officer Hendricks. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Appreciate your comments. Our next speaker, please come to the podium, Fernando Angiano.
Thank you and good evening. My name is Fernando Angiano.
Good evening, my name is Diana Maya.
Before I begin, I want to thank you guys because I was here earlier in January. I voiced my concern about staying at the resort at our DECA conference, and I really appreciate your guys' feedback and allowing us to stay. And it's honestly, I'm so thankful that you guys allowed us to stay there, and I appreciate it. And we wish luck on us because we're going to compete this Thursday. Today my concern is during our entertainment when we're gonna be there. Our marketing teacher, Mr. Winsky, did voice a concern saying that the one thing that you guys said we weren't allowed to do was just be around pools, just because of incidents that happened before previously. As long as they're a lifeguard, you guys did say through a phone call that we received. Our marketing teacher just feels a little bit unsure about the confirmation, and I just wanted to get a little a confirmation just saying that as long as there's lifeguards that we are allowed to be within the premises of a pool.
Good evening, I am a member of DECA. Like Fernando said, we are going on a trip on Thursday, approximately 1 p.m. and we'll be getting back on Saturday, approximately 1 p.m. as well. So as he said, your guys' efforts of allowing us to stay at the resort goes without question. It was both a fight from our end and a fight from your end, and we truly appreciate you guys doing that for us, because coming from me, and coming from somebody who has watched him do his hair, he takes a while to get ready. So it's not easy to get up at 7 a.m. and meet at school. We are always late. However, hopefully this opens so many more doors, but we did have that single question. If a lifeguard is present, especially because they have a small aquatic center there, if we are allowed to be in that perimeter and inside those aquatic centers, they have things such as tubes and water slides. I've never been to a water park, so I don't know what's there. But it is a really fun attraction that we've always missed out on because we don't stay at the resort. And with us staying, we have an opportunity to enjoy those things as our final senior year. And we were just wanting clarification on that, just to assure that we don't mess this up for future DECA members.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much for that statement and comment, and we'll take everything in consideration and get back to you guys before you guys depart. And now we are moving to the Agenda E, information discussion item on meet and confirm recommendation. Superintendent, take it away.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, I'd like to invite up our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Ken Hicks, who led our Meet the 13. Loved by all in the back row.
Good evening, thank you very much. Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Calles, colleagues, and community members, thank you very much for allowing me to present tonight. I'm more joyous than normal. Don't think I've ever gotten a round of applause before I spoke about anything in my life, so thank you very much.
It might be bigger afterwards.
Well, yes, well, we'll see. But so I will say this is an information-only presentation, so there is no voting action on this agenda item, but on items on this agenda later on in the agenda and in future agenda items, what you will see is all of these ideas and things coming out of Meet and Confer will materialize into action items for the board to vote on. And so this is just really just to present everything all at once so that you have a good understanding of what we did. I do want to thank our team and the committee, and you heard from some of them back there, and it is great to see some of our classified staff that are staying very late, so thank you very much for Henrietta Rakia. But if anybody was on the committee, if you could please stand up and so I could thank you all. Thank you very much. What I appreciate the most is in our process, trying to be collaborative, and I'll go through some of these, but one of the things as a facilitator that I'm looking to make sure that everybody's participating, everybody's engaged, and everybody feels comfortable and safe to say anything and everything so that we can come up with the best recommendations possible. And I believe that everybody was fully participating in doing that and meeting them. So I appreciate that they came and were present and participated, and so I'm very thankful for that. The process, we look to be collaborative, but also when we're talking about an interest-based approach for decision making, and years ago, AEA did some trainings, and I think I sat through Nell Peterson, I think it was, that did the training, which was really good, and they introduced game theory, and they talked about how this process, an interest-based approach, really works. And really what it means is a lot of times we're going to brainstorm and throw things out, but essentially we're going to tell a story behind the idea. So it's not just one idea out there and that's competing with another idea. And that we're all looking at it from all sides and that we're all looking to do what's best for the district. And so I really appreciate that we all did that. And so when somebody threw out an idea and it was talked and said no, we would check to see who threw it out there to explain it. Can you tell us a little bit more before it was no or not at this time? So I appreciate that. It was consensus based, so anything that was approved, and most you're going to see tonight, but then all the action items of the other things coming through, that all means that everybody could either, yes, they supported it, or they could live with it. If it had just one no, we did not go forward with it until we either talked further, changed it, or took it off the list. We met 6 times, and those meetings are normally, I think, supposed to only be 2.5 hours. I think they went to 3.5 hours at times, and so very devoted. Last year, it was very exhaustive in the sense that we had over 60 items, and this year we identified over 70 items to talk about. So, and just in general, I was just scanning through them right before this meeting tonight. Literally, the leave process was about 15%, stipends, compensation about 35%, safety and security, although it might have only been about 15% of the items. Lots of conversation about that. Job reclassification was about 20%, and then professional development, support, wellness was about another 15%. So if you just visually looking and seeing, we really hitting the on all of those. So I'll just go through really quickly on some. We'll start with the non-compensation items. So we bring up anything, so it could be just workplace conditions. And so here are the ones that these next 13 have identified as things that we're making a recommendation. I believe this policy is on the agenda tonight, and that was to change and modify how we do our sick leave and make it into true sick leave bank. So we got some samples from a couple other districts, looked at it, everybody read through it, we discussed it, we kicked it to a subcommittee, so our benefits manager position jumped in, our HR, executive director of HR also jumped in, and payroll and Henrietta and everybody. So we got lots of people looking at it, coming through to vet and verify to make sure that it made sense. And this recommendation that you see on tonight's agenda is to modify to create a sick leave bank. So very well thought out, and I thought a very good idea. Discipline committee, this is the second time. Last year we had it on there to create it or to discuss with the discipline process. And that happened, but this year it was a little more prescriptive that we want to make sure that parents are also now included in this process. So can we bring back the committee, relook at everything, because yes, Derek and his team are doing this on a regular basis, but let's expand who's participating in this and review and make any recommendations in that process. One that's, I know this is no cost, add 3 days to a new teacher contract. Sounds like there is a cost, but there's currently already adding 3 days to the new teacher contract. Is paid for at a grant, but it's paid for on a daily rate on top of their contract. What we'd like to do is put more work on Stacy and ask her to create a new contract that has the 3 days included for just those new teachers. And so their second year, they'll jump to a regular contract that everybody is. So we're creating a new separate contract for that. Increased training for security staff. This came up a lot, and we had Derek in there. We talked about our personal experiences, everything that's happening, and a lot of what we're coming up with is providing additional training and supports. Also, in this, although this is on suspensions, but part of that security and safety conversation also led into transportation, saying, hey, we're not always communicated with, and what are we doing? So kind of close that loop or include everybody that needs to be part of it. And part of that is, if somebody's suspended from school, how is transportation getting notified that they're not supposed to be on a bus? And so sometimes that actually does happen. So we were talking about changing that, and also I know one of the things we agreed is myself and Mr. Tolleson will show up at the first week that our transportation staff is coming back to work. And we're going to explain some of the process, because some of the concerns they had about safety was if there was a site that was maybe insecure or locked down or having some kind of issue with it, and buses are driving into it, and a lot of them, they go on social media or they know, and sometimes people are talking to them, they know that something's happening at that school, and they're worried that we're sending them into that crisis. A lot of times, I'm working with Derek, I'm working with Mr. Herzog or Ms. Tucker, and we're identifying we need to maybe stage them. So we're sending them to the school knowing that they may not go to the school, they may go to the school. So we're in constant communication. but we also know they can't just sit here, and if we get cleared and they need to be picked up in 5 minutes, they will not be able to get there from 5 minutes from here. So we do need them to leave. So we look at staging places. So we go through that whole process. Nobody's really communicated that to the bus drivers, and so we're going to start communicating that process to the bus drivers so they just feel more comfortable and confident that we are taking into their safety into consideration as well. Another request was, can we change the first week that teachers come back, and that is to switch it to the 1 day for the district, 1 day for classroom setup, and 3 days for the site work. And I know some of these things, when these requests come up, it's not an immediate answer. Sometimes Mr. Seha has to go back to OLAS and talk to the team, and this is what we're looking at, and he has to come back and say, yes, we can do that, but that is one that we are going to change. Another area that came up multiple times was coordinators and their support with professional development. And so what this resulted in is creating more professional development videos, creating a library, allows to get more stuff out to staff, and then also publish a calendar for staff for when they're going out so that they see when they're coming on their campus and when they can take advantage of that as well. We also talked about evaluations. I believe this is certified evaluations. And this was to modify a regulation, so not a policy, but the regulation. And this, I think, was already happening, but we wanted to formalize it, which is include language that if there was an appeal, they talk with the principal before it goes straight to the superintendent or designee. And so we were making that recommendation as well. Another non-compensation items is to work with our mentors to increase our support to our continuing teachers. This is evolving from the sense that we don't have as many first-year teachers, we don't have as much attrition, we don't have as much turnover, and so really we have some teachers that are moving into the second, third, fourth year. What are we doing to help those continuing teachers? So shifting some of that work, and Mr. Seha and OLAS, we're happy to meet that. We did have some questions about the transfer process with our certified staff and what we do. We talked through this a lot and how can we make it better, and really what we all landed on is we do need better communication. So some of the concerns that are brought to us, and the reason for it is we're telling that story, it might not be the way that we handle that. And so why did it get off, and why is it not handling the way we think it is? Sometimes that's communication or miscommunication. So HR, when they send the email out, will expand their email a little bit and increase some certain communication to help with that process. Some things, getting the teachers' input on our instructional assistants, our special ed teachers, if they have an instructional aide in their class, instructional assistant in their class, how can they put some input onto whether it's their hiring or the staff or their evaluations. So we're going to get their input on that. We did bring in our federal projects director, Ms. Angela Maston, and she came in and talked a lot about some of our title supports and also McKinney-Vento. And there were some concerns about, are we getting enough support to our social workers with a lot of our McKinney-Vento students, and there's a lot of challenges in some refugee populations, and how we can adjust that. She wasn't waiting for us. She was already taking it upon herself to start making some structural changes with what her staff does and how they provide those supports, and I think that is already in place this semester. If not, I know she will get it a little bit changed for next semester. And then also there was, as I mentioned, a lot of job reclassification requests, and some of that is more difficult than it sounds, is that how does anybody on this committee know that a groundskeeper, somebody made the request from their classification and move it up 2 grades? In isolation, without any context, it's hard to know about that. Well, we got a lot of those requests. You know, there was probably 12 to 15 of those requests that changed that, and with such a large volume, it's really hard to say, yes, they deserve it. And if everybody knew that all they had to do was ask and we would relook at it and grant it, then everybody would have asked. And so really what we did is we asked our executive director, Ms. Almaraz, if she could go back, look at all of it, maybe do a little analysis comparing the industry, our competition, or other districts near us that are like us, and what their pay is, and see if we need to make any changes, and bring that back to next year's meet and confer, so we have a better, fully comprehensive analysis and not taking some isolated recommendations going forward to the board. Those were the non-compensation items. Our compensation items, this was already released, I think, a month and a half ago on a video, so not a huge surprise to anybody, but the committee is recommending an 8% increase, so similar to last year, and will continue the salary capping component of that. So what the salary capping component is, if anybody is over 160% of step 1 of their placement schedule that they reside in, they will be limited to a 3% base pay increase. So last year the capping was at 2%. There was a little conversation that, with inflation a little bit higher, why aren't we moving that up? And so that base pay moved up. So that essentially means anybody that's been here will be getting somewhere between a 3 and an 8% raise across the district. Actually, a little more than 3 because the base of the schedule goes up a little bit. So everybody will be getting at least a 3% raise. I think that we pull the data out of our software. And from what I estimated, it looks like there's 96 people that will be somewhere between 3% and 8%. And there'll be about 1,400 people that will be getting the full 8%. So a small percentage will still be capped. They were capped, a lot of them capped last year, only 40 new ones, 50 new ones. This also means that we'll continue our practice of increasing the initial placement salary schedule by 4%. So that is typically half of whatever we're recommending for compensation for all staff on their base pay. Other compensation items, and we had a little bit of a change with this last year. We're modifying it again just to make it simpler and cleaner because it was a little confusing. And really this is our post-employment leave payout. If you are at least 50 years old and get more than $5,000, $5,000 or more, then it automatically goes to our third-party vendor, which going through the third-party vendor saves all the FICA taxes from both the employee and the district. So it's a win-win for both of us. But there's paperwork to go through, and some people get confused. And so we're just cleaning it up. You have to meet both those criteria. If you're going to get paid out $5,000 or more, and you're 50 years or older, you're going through the vendor. If you do not meet both of those criteria and only meet one or none, then you're getting paid out through payroll and regular taxes. Both of us will be paying and everything. The other move is, this has a dollar amount to it, but move instructional assistants to 7.5 hours a day. It was one of those unintended consequences of last year going to 8 hours, and we had some gaps that maybe some instructional assistants were not covering the full day. I believe a lot of them were offered, and so we did make some assistance or adjustments this year to increase that. We are now officially just doing it for all instructional assistants. It's a 7.5 hour day. Another request was with our certified staff getting credit for their continued education. Can we do something with degrees? And so this we landed on anybody in that administrative schedule, anything above and beyond the job requirements. So if the job requires a bachelor's, anything above that. If the job requires a master's, anything above that, 1 master's, you get a $2,500 per degree with a cap of $7,500 per person. So you can collect a lot of degrees from the district. We'll only pay you an additional $7,500. The other big one that we're hoping, this is something we do hear on people sometimes when they're going through the hiring process and they will stop or opt out, is because they thought that it was not a 9.5 or 10-month position, they thought it was 11-month. And so we're now going to create the option that bus drivers can select which one they want. Some of them want the full summer off, some of them want to work the 11 months and work through summer school. And so this allows them to choose either one. We're going to work with HR to create a process where they will elect that before we issue the contracts on March 17th. And so once they select one, they will have to stay with it because we'll have to align benefits, rules, and FTEs all align with that. So once you're in, but they at least have the option that they can pick one or the other. Some that will mean a pay increase, and some will just stay and they like it how it is. We also talked a lot about stipends all over the place, and one of them was the longevity stipend. Some saying continue, some say get rid of it. After a long conversation on that, because it's such a small amount, and because the district has been so generous in the raises over the years, the raises are much more, base pay raises are much more attractive than anything. So there is your longevity. Stay with the district longer and you'll be making a lot longer money. So really what we're saying is let's get rid of the longevity stipends, and so anybody that's receiving it now, they'll be held harmless and grandfathered in. It'll just be taken out, moved over to their base pay, and that'll be their new base pay after that. And then also to make sure that counselors and coordinators are also eligible for the National Board Certified Teachers. Some of them have those distinctions. We did not make that distinction last year when we were making the recommendation to increase. It's now, you have it, you're a better person, better for the district, we benefit from it, let's pay anybody and everybody for that. And then another request was to expand our paid parental leave by 1 week. So currently we're doing the 2 weeks, this will move it to 3 weeks for paid parental leave. We also had a few requests for nurses. One was to add 10 days to their calendar, and the other was to create a lead nurse and have that stipend moved to index 2. Really wanted to start indexing all stipends. We tried to do as much as we can, most of them are, but this is moving that stipend not to a fixed amount, but to the indexed amount. Permanent subs, we're moving those down to 7 hours a day. So this is keeping their pay the same, but we really, some of the feedback we've heard from our permanent subs is they would not like to work and stay after and do the full 8 hours. They like to leave as soon as the bell rang in that sense. And it was actually hurting us actually bringing in and hiring and keeping permanent subs. And so after hearing that feedback, and we all agreed that yes, we can go with the 7 hour day. The other concern we heard from Ms. Madsen when she came in and talked about is our future grants, and some of them, some title funds may be going down, and also with our generous raises, it continues to put a lot of pressure on funding those positions out of grants. And so she asked that currently right now for extra duties, we pay them at their daily rate. And what we'd like to do, or their hourly rate, what we'd like to do to kind of help out our grants department is cap them at $48 an hour funded from the grant. If their hourly amount is more than that, they'll continue to make the full amount of their hourly rate. We will just pay for that out of M&O. So if they're at 54, $6 is coming out of M&O, $48 out of the grant. Helps them manage and know that they're not going to have less or be able to provide less services. They can continue to do, and creates a little bit more easy planning for them. And we'll just have a spillover amount covered by our maintenance and operations budget. That is a lot of things, and not all of everything that I just mentioned in there is $11.8 million. The benefits increase, which I'll be presenting on the action, did not have in there, so I'll go through that at the next. And we have all the new positions. Not all the new positions were included in that. There's some crossover. Some of the intervention specialists were that will be on the Ms. Almaraz's presentation of new positions came from Meet and Confer. We also had the security dispatcher came out of Meet and Confer. I thought there might have been 1 or 2 other positions that came out of Meet and Confer. So some of this cost is embedded in 2 other presentations later tonight on action items. So just wanted to give you the full breadth of everything we're doing and ask if there's any questions.
Members, any question? Mr. Kent, thank you so much for the presentation and info. Chapman?
No more questions. I just want to thank you, thank our Meet Confer team, members from across the district. Some of you may not have been here. We passed this policy in collaboration with our teachers, our classified staff, and our administrators 10 years ago. And ever since then, I think it's had tremendous results, not just in our staff retention, but our academic achievement. So I just want to thank you all for coming to the table, talking about where we need to be as a district, and helping us make some of these tremendous investments in you and our students. I'm happy to see that even while we're creating updates to our existing facilities for our student learning and safety and staff learning and safety, we're also building new facilities and still able to offer the paying benefits that we are. So I just want to continue to thank everybody for what we're doing across the district and having your voice heard in the Meet and Confer process. So thank you.
Any other comments? I would like to again thank you for the presentation, the information. I think it's always crucial to have our teachers and staffs and personnel to be well compensated. And in order to create that achievement, that goes rest with our veteran board members and our leadership and of course the team at the district office. What I would like to see moving forward, is to see those building blocks go where it needs to go. And that can't be done without the voices of the teachers, the staffs, and the personnel. So I applaud all of you guys that went through this process, and that's been going on for 10 years. And just to moving along. Should there be a time where there is a situation or a discussion that seems difficult to overcome, just from the past examples, I know that you guys can make it happen. So well done, everyone that was involved in this process, and congratulations, well deserved. And I'm very proud. I'm very proud of all of you.
Thank you.
Okay, so on to the item G, the consent agenda items. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Najera?
Yes.
Mr. Del Palacio? Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Sun?
Yes. Now to item H, action discussion item to approve employee health benefits for the fiscal year 25-26.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, I'd like to invite up once again our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Ken Hicks, to an even bigger round of applause.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Calles, colleagues and community members. If I've never had it once before, I've definitely never had it twice before I spoke. So thank you very much to the crowd. So this is abbreviated, not a really full presentation, but this is a little bit different than what was presented last year. Last year just a little more complex with some of the HSA changes and everything. This, not a lot of changes. And so really just wanted to put it all out of all of our benefit offerings. Not all of them are paid by the district, so anything that's in the dark green is what you see from the district. Anything that's in the light green, that's the price that the employee would be paying. And so, as you can see also then, what changes are off the right-hand side. So really, there's not a lot of changes, especially in our medical. There's a required change just because of the IRS changes requirements on the high deductible health care plan and what the deductible is. So that had to increase by law to $3,300, so we made that change. And after that, there was no other change. The only other change was an increase in cost because we've been having a lot of babies. And so even though we're a younger organization compared to a lot of other districts, and normally our claims are less than everybody else, this year it was not. Or this last year it was not, and part of this year has not been. So we've been using our healthcare plan, which is okay. We also, last year, we added the counselor for our staff out of it. What we also did halfway through this year, that's also coming out of claims, which is increasing our claims, is there was so much usage and for that counselor, and there was such a backup. It was asked, can we add another one? So we asked our provider if we could go out there and find another counselor to help support our staff, and I believe they started right at the beginning of January. And so that also increased the cost, but very much needed. If we're having that much need for our staff to be talking to somebody is a good thing. And so providing those services is great. So that helped drive it. So that's a long way of saying the district's costs on this are going up over 14%. So it is just under 1.5 million. So of that previous 11.8 million that was on the previous presentation, 1.5 of it roughly is coming from our benefit side. Almost no other changes. As you can see, rate change stay the same, rate change stay the same, rate change the same. There is under vision, it's a voluntary program, and that did actually go up. So we are having a new vendor. Our previous vendor was UHC Vision. They were having an increase also. So we jumped over to get a more robust plan for roughly an extra less than 10 cents a month. So it is a little bit higher, 10 cents more per month, depending on your plan, or those benefits, but the benefits are much richer. So they pay for themselves if you use it. It's a voluntary plan, so a lot of these we're not paying for, but if it starts green, we are. So, but you can see no change or a decrease in the basic life. Some of it, we just changed contracts or had Valley Schools negotiate better rates for us, and we just have a little bit of savings. No change, no change. Then the final page, what you see is a lot of change in that last one. This is a brand new vendor we're bringing in, Colonial Life. Just a lot of conversation about getting some more voluntary accidental insurance, or maybe cancer, critical illness. So just more offerings. These are all voluntary, so they do not cost the district anything. We just really have to manage them and make sure that the vendors get paid and the employees, if they have to ask them, get paid too. So really just good to offer it. And so with very little changes, very little action or changes from last year, I will stand for any questions.
Members, any questions?
I just want to thank you and the HR team for putting this together. It's a huge monster, but the fact that not only are there no increases for our staff again, that we've absorbed those, just want to thank you for making those investments, working with our benefits consultant on that, and making sure that we're keeping our staff healthy and happy. So thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And now to the discussion, consideration to approve employee compensation.
That's an action item.
Oh, sorry.
We need to vote.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Najera? Yes. Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Sun?
Yes. And to our second discussion and consideration to approve the employee compensation increases for the fiscal year 25 to 26. Superintendent.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, now going for the trifecta of applause to discuss our compensation increases, our CFO, Mr. Ken Hicks.
Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Kayas, colleagues, and distinguished fans, appreciate everything. No presentation on this, as I already mentioned. This is 8% with the capping for our compensation increase. Stand for any questions.
Members, any questions, comments?
No questions, I have a comment, Madam President. First of all, this is the happiest I've ever seen you, Ken. You can smile so much with the applause. So noted, just the applause will do the trick. But I want to again reiterate what some of my colleagues have already said. When everyone has a seat at the table, these are the results. Okay, in a time when schools are closing campuses, can't recruit staff, laying off folks, we're in a more fortunate position to where we can actually invest in our staff, which in turn is an investment in student success. It's an investment in student success. So I think it's a tremendous job that, to you and your team and everyone else that is part of these conversations. Obviously, you can have all the resources in the world, but if you don't know how to manage it, anything can happen. But it's evident that we know we have the staff who's talented enough to know how to make it work for our people and the students. And so, again, just a great job, and look forward to supporting this. Thank you.
Any other members' comments?
I just wanted to echo that, continue to thank you, but also I think in addition to the support from our departments and our main confer committee, I appreciate the leadership for our superintendent who was previously leading this as a CFO and now a superintendent, and helping us continue to be able to make these investments in our staff. So thank you all. I'm happy to make a motion.
I would like to make a comment.
Oh, sorry.
Would you like to make a motion?
I'll withdraw.
I'm kind of shocked at the fact that there's there's less people in the audience, and you still get the roaring applause. There must be some sort of echo in here. Well done. Of course, I can't forget, the purpose of all this. What we're all here for, and it is supporting our students. But who are the front line, fighters for our students? But they're teachers. And, I'm so grateful for every level, and every level has to function to make the upper level to look, good. And I just want to point out that, the teachers and the staffs, everything that you've done since day one, as long as you've stayed for 1 year or a decade or more, it's not lost. And that, take comfort and pride that everything that's happening today, this moment, and all the achievements that we have achieved together, moving forward, that let's not forget the backbones that we are standing on and the foundation that they lay. So again, I'm just so grateful and honored, to be one of your board members. So thank you all. You guys can clap. Okay, Member Chairman, would you like to make a motion?
I'm happy to make a motion on item 2.
I second. Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Najera? Yes. Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chicama?
Yes.
And Ms. Sun?
Yes. And to number 3, discussion consideration to approve additional positions for the 2025 to 2026 school year. Superintendent Guides, please take it away.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board. Up next is not our CFO, Ken Hicks. We are now turning it over to our Executive Director of Human Resources, Mrs. Stacy Almaraz, to go over the new positions.
You lose, Ken.
8% AOE.
President Sun, Vice President Chapman, members of the board. Administration seeks governing board approval of some additional positions. I am going to ask several people to come up, just so that they can explain their positions. There we go. All right. So the first group that I'm going to ask is Operations Student Services. Mr. Derek Tolleson. There is 4 or 5 that are new, but then there are some that we already have on our campuses, but we're adding new positions. So some of them are new positions. Some of them we currently have a position like security, but we are adding more to the campus, and I will ask Mr. Derek Tolleson to go a little bit more in depth on that.
Thank you, Ms. Almaraz. President Sun, Vice President Chapman, board members, Superintendent Cayes. The Operations Department is seeking the addition of some positions. The first position is Director of Student Services. With all the expansion of not only people, students, schools over the past few years, the expansion of working with school-based services, and really the tasks that we've taken on, we need that Director of Student Services to oversee the Prevention Coordinator and Intervention Coordinator. Their role would be simply to oversee them and work with the Chief Operations Officer to accomplish those duties. In addition, a new position is the District Security Coordinator. District Security Coordinator would really be overseeing the compliance, the implementation, and the trainings that go with our security endeavors. The interventionist, there's a few of these here that are through the meet and confer process. Mr. Hicks did mention them. Adding 1 interventionist at each of the sites. We currently do have an interventionist, but the need for adding an additional interventionist at those sites. Security, the request for security is to have 2 at the district level. There are events that we could use some security at the district level, but also when we have expanded activities at a site or absences at any of the sites. And to have 2 security to be able to assign and put at a site on a daily basis would be a huge help to the sites that often don't have a replacement for them, like a substitute, and then we end up having to restructure our planning and our zoning and our coverage, and really our security as a whole. So 2 district roaming are requested, and then at each site, a security dispatch. That really is a completely different role and assignment, technology, skill than what our security guards currently have. They've been working with us to fill a dispatch position, but many of them are desire to be in the security role, and that way we can have them apply or anyone new apply for what is really a different position of just dispatching, utilizing our camera systems and any of our emergency operation plans. And they would be responsible for managing that team at each site.
Thank you, Mr. Tolleson. Next up, if I could ask Mr. Travis Johnson to join me.
Good evening, President Sun, Vice President Chapman, Superintendent Cayes, and guests. So this one is a not so a new position, but we're bringing it back. So as we're in that phase of safety and starting to build in our alternative education program, and in addition, the last board meeting, the governing board approved our TUHSD numbers, which by law or by statute memo that we need to create schools instead of a program. So it brings, both positions bring some different responsibilities. So obviously the TOA position is, I can't be everywhere at the same time. So I have 2 different locations, so that position will be able to support me and support the principal in the growth of our district's alternative education programs, and then represent our program at district functions and meetings. Can't go to all meetings. So again, it's just a greater representation of our program. And then the second one, the registrar, is just compliance. We're in a phase now where we're going to have to do some data keeping. We're going to have to report some things to the state. We're going to have to be judged as far as our label and things like that. So we need the best statistic. We need the best person that will manage our student files and things like that. So I bring this to you to support our alternative education program.
We are also asking for an executive director of school leadership. This is the 3rd executive director position to oversee our principals and what's going on at the sites. Currently, right now, Mr. Seha and Dr. Lagunas-Watley oversee that. With everything going on, we want a dedicated position to oversee the principals and at the sites. We are also asking for the work calendar to be changed for our administrative assistants for the API and APR. So as you know, the API and APR share an administrative assistant right now, so it's kind of double duty. And every year we get the request for them to extend their time throughout the summer because of summer school, and so the registration starts so early that they are staying through the end of June. So we thought it might be in their best interest if we made it from a 10-month to a 12-month. Next up, if I could have Ms. Dr. Lagunas-Watley join me, please.
Good evening, President Sun, Vice President Chapman, board members, Superintendent Cayes. In our continuous effort to enhance educational outcomes, we seek additional positions to guide and support the district and the OLS initiatives. So currently we have 1 math coach position. We are seeking to add an additional math coach. So 1 math coach will help and support 3 comprehensive high schools, and then the other math coach would service the other 3 comprehensive high schools. And then with the University High and our 3 programs, they would divide the caseload equally. This would increase coaching opportunities, and it would also increase the support to our teachers by providing more of the professional learning opportunities. The math coaches will also help us in support in meeting the district's strategic goal of increasing the percentage of proficiency in the ACT math. Additionally, for the instructional tech coach, we have 1 tech coach that services all our staff district-wide
we are seeking to add an additional instructional tech coach. This would also increase teaching opportunities, teacher coaching, also increase the support of our teachers and provide more professional learning opportunities that involve educational technology and the implementation of AI. This will prepare our teachers and students to be competitive in this digital world. And now, our next position is the IB coordinator, and I want to bring Dr. Sorensen to share a little bit about the IB coordinator.
President Sun, Vice President Chapman, members, and Superintendent Calles, I had brought this position in my previous presentation regarding IB. As we know, the DP and NYP are a school within a school program, so we will need someone to lead that charge and build the program and make sure that we're meeting all the requirements of being an IB World School.
The next position that we seek to add in the CTE division is the CTE work-based coordinator. This position would increase student internship opportunities, create industry partnerships to support the CTE programs that we have in place. It will also improve in creating successful pathway for our students post-secondary. The next position is a student support analyst, and this would be under the Exceptional Student Service Division. The student support analyst would review and maintain ESS student information data, collect and aggregate and submit federal and state data. And with the growth of our ESS population, it's expected to increase the documentation to collect and submit to our state and federal, so we can ensure that we are in compliance. The analyst will also review and analyze different data, such as in-district assessments, IEP data, discipline data, and other data points to ensure a positive impact to student academic growth and to ensure that our students are receiving the services that they need. Lastly, we are requesting to add an additional records clerk at La Jolla. West Point has 2 records clerk, and their population, ESS population is, they have 277 students. La Jolla has 283 ESS students. So they have a little bit more, so we want to ensure that they also have the support to ensure that they have the records, the documentation, and that our students are getting the services that they need. So these positions will meet our district strategic goal, WestEd recommendation, and also our OLS initiatives. Thank you. Next up, if I could have Mr. Antonio Aguirre join me at the podium.
Thank you, Stacy. Good evening, President Sun, members of the board. I'm here seeking approval for a low voltage tech one and the application support coordinator. This will allow us to provide the best safety and security environment for all students, employees, and our communities. The position for the low voltage technician will manage and operate all operational and maintenance of 750 security cameras district-wide, 450 card readers, including the door strikes, 280 vape sensors, and all single data drops that are done at the district level. Our application support coordinator duties and responsibility will ensure that all security related to our Microsoft agreement are taken care of. This includes cloud security, compliance management, threat protection, and obviously ensure that a district is in compliance with Homeland Security and the trust as well when it relates to cybersecurity protection for our district. Thank you.
And last but not least, can I have Mr. Ken Hicks join us?
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Calles, colleagues, and community members. This one, just got a couple here, but one is to create a system. One, we made a change in our transportation department of who's doing evals and such, and that has changed a lot of work over to Ms. Tucker off of Mr. Herzog's. And so, and as I work with them, I believe that they are a team with a director and assistant director, and as I've looked at other models of other districts, they have that same model. And so what I'm asking here is to promote Ms. Tucker from transportation supervisor to assistant director of transportation. So that would just be a reclassification. Additional positions, in July, we will be opening up a new warehouse, maintenance facility with our nutrition services over there as well. We would need a warehouse manager, supervisor, somebody to be in charge over there, and that allows us to start setting up, configuring, so that we'll be able to start centralized receiving and then start distributing from there. Also, what we learned, and I think I shared some of the struggles we had over the summer when our only two accounts payable technicians or county technicians resigned over the summer, and we all had to pick up and try to do the work, and we're completely overwhelmed. We had heard that there was a lot of, that they were overwhelmed and it was hard to stay up. We confirmed there is a lot of work. We are buying lots of things with lots of payments, and there's lots of confusing bills. And so if anybody has ever been in a school district, in a warehouse or a county, and you get an Amazon bill, it is nightmare to learn how to pay that, to make sure it meets all the legal requirements to pay it, and where it shows up and how to get that documentation is not easy. And so what we're asking for is we're continuing to grow and purchase, that we add an accounts payable person, that accounting technician. We're also looking at our maintenance for two. One is to create and promote one of our 3 existing HVAC skilled maintenance staff into an HVAC lead position. So to create that lead, so there's one over all 3 of them, is a model that we would like to move to and promote one of. So not an actual new staff, this is just a reclassification of one of those, and they would all be eligible and apply. And then one new position is the bond project supervisor. With the approval of the new SFOB high school that we got, getting over $100 million from the state, knowing that we have $250 million bond authorization, we probably have, not counting the new high school, 300 to 350 of bond needs. There's a lot needed that needs to manage that, and so this would add that position to add and manage our bond projects. It could be also paid out of bonds. I will say, I don't know if this is where Superintendent Kayes would jump in, but this makes me almost faint that we're talking about adding this number of positions. Now, the majority are placed at the schools. So that is one thing I'm very cognizant of, is adding to a district office when we need to be supporting the schools and the students out at the sites. So the majority is out there. A lot of these are in here. I would say we started at a number that was over 42, and we came into cabinet a couple times and just kept whittling down and working on how can we say no, or not this year. Let's wait until more growth happens, and we continue to budget for growth, and we can add more staff and support the raises and leverage our balances that we have, our fund balance. But so this has been whittled down a little bit, and obviously I don't like spending money, so it has always some concern. But as you heard from the need and the growth and the changes and how we're evolving, this is what we're requesting for next year. Sorry, I didn't know if I was taking the closing slide.
You're good. With that, we will take any questions. Just ask Ken.
Members, any questions, comments? Okay, Superintendent Kayes.
Call for motion.
Okay. Can I have a motion?
So. Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Naheda,
Pass.
are you passing? Are you abstaining?
I'm passing.
Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
Ms. Sun?
Yes.
Dr. Luna Naheda?
Yeah, I'd like to explain my vote. I am concerned about the, I guess the amount of positions that are being presented all at once. I would have preferred to have a work study
where the board could have also chipped away, kind of like the way our CFO just discussed that happened in cabinet. I think that would have been a fair process for us as board members to have a work study so that we could also share our concerns and discuss these positions a little bit more in detail. And also, you know, if our community members wanted to attend and participate in that process. I worry about us being fiscally responsible, and I'm not very comfortable with the amount that we are adding in terms of the cost. I think for now I'm going to be a no, even though I do believe that some of these positions are critical to our student success, but I cannot pick and choose the ones that I would be supportive of because that's not the way it's been set up, and so for that reason I'm a no.
We'll now go on to number 4, discussion consideration to approve job description. Superintendent Guys.
Yes, Madam President, I'd like to invite back up Ms. Stacy Almaraz, our Executive Director of Human Resources.
President Sun, Vice President Chapman, last year we revised all of our job descriptions from classified, certified to admin. We did it in 3 months, kind of like a timeline. This year, some of those were brought back up to us with a few revisions. So the list, I won't read them all to you, but the list that is presented to you is what we are wanting to revise again with a couple of, whether it is an essential function or a qualification, there is minimal changes on the list that is in front of you.
Quick question.
Members' questions? Member Chapman.
Yeah, I know we got a chance to speak briefly about the HR 2 director positions. I know you talked about that cohort. I guess just for the sake of anything that needs to be posted, are you okay with it staying, just as long as it's in the preference line now, is that SHRM not being a requirement anymore? I'm good with that. I know they're working on building out that cohort you mentioned.
Absolutely.
So if that's something you want to bring next year and just to get these posted, I'm good with that. So
I actually was going to pull them again and bring them back to the 4th so that I can make that change that you asked, and we can bring that back next week on the 4th, and I'll have both director positions with the new information on them for you.
Any further questions, comments? Members? All right, I think we're good. So can I have a motion?
A motion to approve the job description revisions of the exception of the director of HR certified and support staff that we'll bring back at the next meeting.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Najera? Yes. Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Sun?
Yes. We have 3 more, so now we're on to number 5. Discussion consideration to approve new job description. Superintendent Guys, please take it away.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, leading the audience tonight with rounds of applause, Mrs. Stacy Almaraz.
President Sun, Vice President Chapman, members of the board. Administration seeks the approval of the new job description. So the presentation that we gave you here just a minute ago with all of the new additions, these are the job descriptions that go with those positions. However, as we stated, some of them we already currently have, but we added them back in here for you. Mr. Chapman, I do know that you did ask for a revision on the teacher on assignment and the IB coordinator. I have already spoken to Dr. Sorensen, and we're getting that done. I would like to also bring those back on the 4th for your approval, but everything else is for the jobs that were in the presentation. With that, I will take any questions.
Members, comments, questions?
Members, I'll make a motion to approve the new job descriptions with the exception of the ID coordinator and the TOSA that will be brought back for the March 4th meeting.
I'll second that.
The TOSA.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Nahara? No. Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Sun?
Yes. And on to number 6, discussion review of board policy GCCG, professional support staff volunteer transfer of accrued sick leave. First read, Superintendent Guys.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, this is a first reading of our policy for the sick bank, which was referenced earlier today in one of our presentations. So this is here for your approval for first reading.
Can I have a motion?
Are we doing this? Yes, motion on these are just
Oh, for the reads? All right, any questions, comments? Okay, so we go on to number 7. Okay, last one of the evening. Discussion review of the board policy, KDDA, press releases, conferences, and interviews. First read, Superintendent Guys.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, again, this is another first reading of a policy change for policy KDDA for the board's review.
And if anyone has any requests for the agenda items for the future meeting, please email Superintendent Guys with your requests. If there is none, just a quick note for the future meeting for the governing board will be our regular meetings always at 6 p.m. Our next one will be March 6th, the 25th, April 8th, and the 29th. With no further questions, comments, I hereby adjourn the meeting. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Nahara? Yes. Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Sun?
Yes. I hereby adjourn the meeting at 7:58. Thank you, everyone.